About this place, about this game. It's the sense of possibility, the hope and belief that anything is possible.
If you build it, he will come.
It's why they come here, to this glorious spot, where the beauty and promise of America's game grow like the corn, as far as the eye can see. It renews us. It takes us back to what matters most.
Dad, you want to have a catch?
Back to the carefree days when we had all the time in the world to spend together. An open field, a ball, and endless promise. It takes us back to a place where we can be young forever. To a place where dreams come true.
Is this heaven?
No, it's Iowa.
Well, there's Drew Smiley, who gets a start for the Cubs today. How's he feeling? Just taking it all in like so many of these players are. Get the cell phone cameras out. Get the real cameras out, because you'll never see anything like it again. You'll never play.
Don't put them in your back pocket.
No, you don't want it to fall out while you're sliding, Bobby. We saw that the other day. But this is such a great setting for families to come out, and the fans streaming in, the long line of cars down the road in Dyersville and streaming down in Iowa to get to this magical place. The site of the original Field of Dreams movie, and then just across the way in the middle of this majestic cornfield. A Major League ballpark popped up last year, and we're back for year number 2 as we welcome you to the Field of Dreams pregame show on Fox, presented by Geico. And here we are. Great to be with you again here in left field of this field that just pops up in the middle of the corn. That's right. You brought your son David on this trip. What's that experience been like, just bonding with him and getting a chance to kind of show him what you saw last year?
Man, Kevin, I'm telling you, I'm still catching up on things. But one thing I decided to do before I came over was bringing one of my kids. Because, I mean, my kids, they're all busy, you know, growing up and this and that. But David, my little son, he went like that. I mean, I'm coming with you. Because you know what? My dad was my guy. My dad was the guy who guided me, who introduced me to baseball, the guy who teach me everything I know. I know, Pop, you're watching right now. I love you. I got your grandson here with me. And he's enjoying everything. I mean, he's loving everything that he sees, you know, the cornfield, the players, you know, how everything is going down here. He's having so much fun right now, Kevin.
Evening. And Ken, the big theme of the movie and, of course, of today, you just feel that father-son bond, right? But maybe today is also about the father-daughter bond, as A-Rod was talking about.
Absolutely, Kevin. Cubs starting pitcher Drew Smiley, it's his daughter Parker's 5th birthday. She's the oldest of 3. She is here tonight to celebrate. Now, different players have different reactions to this event, but Kyle Farmer, the Reds' third baseman, told me he has seen the movie more times than he can count. He did a report on shoeless Joe Jackson when he was a sophomore in high school, said he didn't know anything but baseball. Now, other Reds weren't exactly sure what to think, but on the bus ride in from the airport, they saw people lined up on the streets waving to them, standing outside their parked cars in the streets of Farley, sitting in picnic chairs. They started to get the positive vibe, the energy, and then once they got here, guys, look at the beauty of this place. How can you not get fired up?
Just across the way in the middle of that corn. And what a scene, what a setting where baseball should be played. And, of course, that movie, Ray Liotta, a huge part of it. He sadly passed away at the age of 67 this past May. But he became a household name with his role as shoeless Joe Jackson in, of course, Field of Dreams. His co-star, Kevin Costner. And he took time to reflect on a magical moment in time that they spent together.
Field of Dreams is about belief in those rare moments when magic becomes real. And it doesn't work unless shoeless Joe is worth the wait, unless he's special. And Ray Liotta was special.
Man, I did love this game. I played for food money. It was a game. The sounds, the smells.
When Ray died back in May, I reminisced about how our batting practice moment together was not a stunt. It was real, and it happened as you saw it.
Yeah, you can hit the curveball.
I said that God gave us that stunt that night, and now God has Ray. And though he may be gone, that's the beauty of a game like baseball and a movie like Field of Dreams. He gets to live forever in our hearts whenever he steps out of that cornfield. He's become eternal. Long live Shoeless Joe, and long live Ray, who helped show us that when dreams come from the heart, they really can come true.
Hey, Kevin, we are lost. Pull over. We're supposed to be in heaven.
This ain't heaven. We're in Iowa.
We're gonna be late. Let's just turn around.
Where'd he come from?
Hey, KB, is that Johnny Bench?
What is Johnny Bench doing in the middle of nowhere?
Pick him up. We need all the karma we can get right now.
Thanks, you're the first car by. I'm Johnny, I play baseball. I'm looking for a place to watch a game.
Well, this is your lucky day, Johnny, because we're going to a place just like that.
I heard in some places they pay you a lot of money to talk about baseball.
And not at Fox. Hey, KB, is that? No. Pull over!
Hey, man, Hall of Famer ain't supposed to walk.
Poppy, we're lost. Do you know how to get to the Field of Dreams?
Come on, Kevin. You can't say Poppy without GPS. Let's go. Johnny Bench, my dog, el mejor. What's happening? Yeah! I got a Johnny.
Thanks, Kevin. David, you pull off the vintage look really well. It may be a little more Wilford Brimley from the Nationals, but
I'm trying to keep up with you, but you're looking. You guys got the digs out here. It looks really good.
Now that you have the uni on, you see the corn, you see the field. What are your first impressions being here?
I walked down the field. I felt like I wanted to run around. I mean, I think it turns you into a kid, right? You go back to the moment you watched Field of Dreams, the moment you got to see the movie. You're in the middle of this, amazing cornfield and this venue they've created here in the middle of nowhere. It's just, I don't know. It's like such a break from the norm, which already is amazing. I don't know. I just felt like a kid wanting to run around out here. It's a really good setup. I can't wait for the atmosphere to get going.
Well, you're someone, you've watched the movie with your kids, with your family. You helped run a father-son camp back near home in Tallahassee, Florida. The meaning of the movie and being here today as a Major League Baseball manager, what does it mean to you?
But that's it, right? It's like just the authenticity of what baseball is. Like at the heart of everything, it's growing up playing catch with your dad. I grew up with my dad played softball on the weekends and late nights on the weekdays. And I remember carrying the bag of softballs with him, going to and from the park and hanging out afterwards with all the guys and playing catch and just getting to be, it's just. It's just so authentic. It just reminds you of childhood. And I think like the one regret, my kid started back school this week, so I couldn't steal my son away. But I think a lot of people here, some of our front office guys, some of the coaches, they were able to bring their kids, and they're going to be playing catch out here real soon. So that's fun.
Thanks, David. Enjoy the night.
Thanks, Tom.
Back to you, Kevin.
Come on, Daddy. Let's go, baby. Yeah! Oh, that was awesome.
I know one thing. If Poppy was driving, we would have never made it to Field of Dreams.
Hey, that's why we're here, man.
That's a guarantee. The Hall of Famer, the great Johnny Bench is here. Johnny, I'm glad we could pick you up and find our way here.
Thank
How
you.
are
Yeah.
you?
All right, got my Terrence Mann spinners on. I'm ready to go. That was so much fun. That was where PT was doing that, and he was total pain. But after a couple of additions to him and working with him, he's still got his stuff together. But you guys were outstanding. And driving that thing, You'd never driven a stick before, had you?
It was an adventure, Johnny. You know, P.T. Navarro, who put that piece together, Aaron Hoskins, so many great talents. They asked me, have you ever driven a stick? I said, no. Well, I said, guess what? You're going to drive it anyway. So I only dropped the transmission on the ground 3 or 4 times. It was fine. Johnny got a concussion, but we're okay.
Yeah, but we're in Iowa.
How special is this to you? You've seen it and done it all in your baseball career.
Well, I've done it before, but not with this magnitude, I don't think. I think the fact that we had, first of all, Hall of Famers, we've got greatest players ever in positions, and we've got folks that are driving from everywhere to see it and build it, and they will come. This is such a magical moment. It's such a constant thing about baseball. And the fact that I was just over at the Cubs tent, I was over at the Reds tent, and with the Commissioner's tent, and these people are so enamored. And I got to meet Ray Kinsella. Oh, wow. I almost had a catch with him, too, because, my dad was a catcher. He served in the war, never got the opportunity to fulfill his dream. And so the end of that movie was just tearjerker every time. I mean, you can imagine, Alex, having a catch with your dad.
It's incredible. And, Johnny, you and I were talking with KB yesterday, and I've been such a huge fan of yours. You are the GOAT, and I was thrilled to be speaking to you. But you told me a story about almost a second father. In your 3rd year, you were 22 years old, kid from Oklahoma, and Sparky Anderson brought you aside in spring training and said, Johnny, what do you think about the hitters here, the fielders here, and the bunters there, and what did you feel, and what does Sparky mean to you?
It was the first time I ever felt like a professional, because I always thought management was up here and the player was down here, and all of a sudden, it was like this scarecrow. He thinks I have a brain, and it was just so exciting and so much fun. And we bonded, and he was a father figure. He was a mentor. He was one of the greatest manager ever, because he went to the Reds, we won, and then he went to Detroit and won. Yeah. And he was just a tremendous individual.
Johnny, first of all, I want to thank you very much for the huge welcome that you guys, the veteran, Cooperstown, welcomed me, man. That was amazing. I feel like a kid in the candy store, man. It was awesome. And I got my son here, David. You got your son here.
I do.
Talk to me about the connection.
Well, the fact is, we didn't know a whole lot about you. We were worried to death about what you were. Here you are wearing all this glitz and stuff and everything else. You had more of this stuff on. I didn't even make that much money in my first 3 years playing baseball. Come in, and you were a charm. I mean, you were absolute charm. And I captured him at the end of the Baseball Hall of Fame dinner on Sunday night. I called my 12-year-old son, who somehow bought a chain with 34 on it. Yeah. Son, I thought I've taught you better than this. But it turned out he met him down at the bottom of the steps, and here David, and he takes his plaque and says, "You hold it." And Josh held it and took the picture, and it was a magical moment.
I love it.
Oh man, whatever that means, I don't know what the hell it means. What does it mean? Never mind. It's PG rated.
That'll be after the show on the online stream. Johnny's going to run that. Well, look, Johnny Bench has done it all. Obviously, one of the greatest players our game's ever seen. He's a TV veteran, you name it, baseball bunch, done World Series. He's done everything. But of course, one of the famous things, the photos, and we've seen Johnny do it. He able to hold 7 baseballs at once in his hands, which is insane. So we figured, Johnny, you've done that many times. It's been documented. Why don't we see how our stellar greats can do with how many baseballs they get in their hands, okay? So 7 is a number.
Well, now it's down to 5.
Yeah, Alex just dropped a few of them.
Here, let me hold the bucket for you, yeah. All right, let me give you, I'll fuel you right now.
Bobby recovering the baseballs.
Yeah. Bobby's doing it. See,
that's not holding. You got to hold it up.
No, you got to hold it like that.
Poppy.
Well, out the pine tar, okay?
All right, so yeah. Alex. All right, Poppy, you got 7.
That's it.
Well, if I could still do this,
that's not even 4.
I'd be making $20 million a year. I thought about making a comeback, but I pulled a muscle vacuuming the other day, and it really has set me back. I don't know what's going to happen and everything else. That's the idea. Yeah.
Into the court.
My hero.
Johnny,
my hero.
We had a lot of fun with you. Thanks for coming by and hanging with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for allowing me to be here, and thanks to all the baseball fans out there. Thanks for bringing everybody to Iowa.
Oh, so great. The Hall of Famer, 17-year Red, Johnny Bench. So why
People will come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America had rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It has been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good and could be good again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Yeah, you know, Magic Johnson recently said he's the sweetest, nicest man you've ever met, and I feel the same way. Like Poppy, I had an opportunity in the early 2000s when I was in Texas. I asked permission to go up and see him up at the booth, and I wanted a picture, and I wanted just to spend some time with him and just talk to him. And watching him, I was in awe. He was such a gentleman. He asked a lot of questions, made eye contact. He was such a warm man, and unfortunately, I had a BlackBerry, not an iPhone, so I couldn't take a picture. But I remember rushing home and watching the replay, and I wanted to hear his stories about our team and how he would talk about me, and he kept mentioning, Alex, the whopper of a contract. He said it every at bat. And it was just a thrill to be a small part of just getting to know him a little bit.
And last thing, the corn shucking contest.
All right.
Have you ever shucked corn before?
No. I grew up in a restaurant, yeah. As fast as I can. I wouldn't even know where to start. All right, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, no. Oh, God. It's harder than I thought. Oh, shoot. Oh, man, there's so many layers to this. Let's go.
All right.
So let's
23 seconds.
Damn.
8 seconds.
Oh, no. Done.
Wow, 5.5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
That's very impressive.
Harder than you thought, right?
That is definitely hard.
The Brockton Rocks are ready to rock and roll here at Campanelli Stadium. There you see D'Angelo Ortiz.
You know, the big leaguer sons that were playing with Manny, Pedro, Bo, Chev. The fans just want to have that experience to see both generations.
D'Angelo Ortiz, like his father, in the clutch.
You know that these other guys are going to have your back and they're going to be able to share the same experiences that you have. We gave each other advice. We helped work through some stuff, hitting-wise, defensively. We just kind of rallied together.
And Sheffield rockets this one.
Sheffield hyped up.
It's something that's never really happened before, and to be a part of it's very cool, especially when, you know, some of the other guys' dads come out and talk to us.
We're speaking the same language, you know, we're kind of in the same position. It's just nice to have somebody at your side that has kind of the same perspective as you.
Playing in Brockton was like playing in the field of dreams, because playing on that field, you felt comfortable. You felt like this is where you're supposed to play baseball.
Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands the first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions.
By the time my dad's career was over, I was just turning maybe 5, 6. So I never really got to experience him being in the big leagues. But since I've been here, he's been here pretty much every other week. It means everything to me.
Get it out and let's get it inside.
When I was younger, I didn't quite appreciate it. Never really understood like the magnitude of some of the stuff that he did. It's been cool to relive some of those experiences that I had and just be like, wow, like I was really there.
He had an amazing career that I was able to keep up with and be there for not every second, but every other second.
Ortiz into deep right field.
I think that legacies are more whatever it stands for after. Hopefully I can, add to that. I'm so proud of you, and thank you for everything that you taught me, and I'm proud to be your son.
Wow. That hit home.
You didn't know that was coming.
No, I don't. That got me.
It got me.
You know that. I mean, the relationship that you have with your kids, Kevin, it goes beyond everything, and being able to guide them and teach them, how to do things is something that is very special. I wish you were here, man.
Joey, you tweeted that tonight playing at the Field of Dreams will be an exceptional moment in your life. Why?
The field, to me, connects my childhood to my Major League present. I've always wanted to be a Major League player. I was raised on this movie. The connection in the movie between the ghost of Ray's father, my father passed away 14 years ago, the catch connection between how common this movie is watched in my house, how much it impacted my decision to move towards baseball, and then being able to share that moment with my father on a consistent basis, and not being able to have that now is, to me, a little poignant. But being here at the Field of Dreams, I think, makes it more happy than sad.
You mentioned your father.
Yeah.
Passed away in 2008. He was only 52.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, what would he think of this place?
I wish he was here to actually have a catch with me. He would be, smitten by it. It's so charming. It's exactly what I think baseball was about between us. It was very quiet. It was a shared moment. It was love between father and son. And I feel that here. So I think he would feel the very same thing.
Joey, thanks a lot. Have fun tonight.
I will.
Kevin, back to you.
Thanks.
Kevin, that storyline involving Moonlight Graham made us wonder about the number of players, position players in Major League Baseball history who got just one plate appearance, what Moonlight wanted, got a hit, and never had another opportunity. The total number in the modern era is 16. The number still alive is 5. This is the story of one of those players. It's a story about the value of an opportunity, the burden of duty, and the enduring magic of this game.
My dream was to play in the majors. My Field of Dreams.
A Southern California pitching and hitting phenom, Roy Gleason was signed out of high school by the Dodgers in 1960. Just 3 years later, he was called up to the big club and into a pennant race.
We had a good team. Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Maury Wills. We were fighting in St. Louis. We were about neck and neck at the time I arrived.
After several pinch-running appearances, Gleason finally got his chance. September 28, 1963, against the Phillies.
I'm walking up to the plate, just went blank.
Checks the runner at third and then fires.
All I wanted to do was focus on that ball.
Looks like it's headed for left
I hit a
field.
line drive between the left fielder and the foul line. Then I just kept going around first and slid into second for a double. It was a dream that I knew now I could reach.
That Dodgers team would win the '63 World Series.
The Dodgers win 2-1 and sweep the series in 4 straight. All bets of break.
Gleason got a ring, but was sent back to the minors for the next 3 seasons. In 1967, he thought he'd get called back up. He got drafted instead and sent to Vietnam.
Realized I was going into hell's way and I better start thinking about surviving. Am I going to be coming home? Is this my last stop? I was 24.
In July 1968, Gleason, already a sergeant, was walking point for his unit in the Mekong Delta when an enemy IED exploded.
And it blew me about 10 feet into the air into a moat. In the meantime, they've wounded about 7 of my men, and one of them was killed instantly.
The unit's machine gunner, Anthony Sevo, was killed in the attack.
He was my man. One of my men. And it was my fault. His life was over, and mine goes on. Why?
With shrapnel wounds to his left leg and wrist, Gleason was transported to Saigon, where he received a Purple Heart, and where he realized he'd lost the World Series ring he carried with him to war.
I didn't wear it. I left it in base camp in my footlocker. gave me hope that I would be able to go back and play again, and I wanted it close to me.
Incredibly, in 1969, Gleason made it all the way back to Dodgers spring training. But his career ended a few years later, and he never made the big club again. Until they invited him back in 2003.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome to Dodger Stadium. May I ask you, please, for a warm Dodger Stadium welcome to former Dodger Roy Gleason, an American hero, as he throws out the first ball.
I went, oh, man, I bounced it. And I'm walking off the mound, and Vinny, I hear him say, hold it, Roy.
Hold it, Roy. There's one other thing for you.
I'm going, what's this about? He wants me to throw the ball again.
We know that World Series ring was lost in Vietnam.
And I went, holy cow, there it is.
It meant a lot to him. I saw him, misting up a little bit on the mound there. He won't admit it, but I know he was.
I get to see it, and then I get to see him wear it. He doesn't take it off his hand. He absolutely loves that ring. Wears it like a wedding band.
My 1963 championship World Series ring.
One dream, one hit, one remarkable life.
I am the only person on earth that has a World Series ring, a Purple Heart, and a perfect lifetime Major League batting average. What more could I ask for?
We thank Roy for sharing his story with us. And as you guys saw, remarkably, he does have the bat still from the one hit he got in 1963. But Kevin, it hasn't just collected dust. Not too long ago, he took it to a local batting cage, cranked up the machine to 90 miles an hour, and took his cuts. It was only after his son saw the scuffs on the bat that he said, Dad, let's not do that again. It's too precious to risk. What a story, Roy Gleason.
Ready, one, take one.
Bottom of the ninth. Everybody be ready.
Take four.
Anderson hits it. Get the wall. Lights out.
Ready two, take two. Ready 50.
Take 50.
Stand by commercial in 5, 4, take 20. 2, 1.
I got it! I got it!
A kid with nothing but imagination.
But it's important, son, when you're practicing pitching. Take these two fingers.
A game with nothing but possibilities.
All right, Ace, you can put it right here in the leather.
It's a match made in heaven. You can't help but gravitate towards the wonder of it all. Baseball can be anything to a kid.
What is it?
Well, you tell me. What do you think it is?
It's a new glove! Thank you!
A gift. A teacher. A storyteller.
That's Andre the Hawk Dawson.
His nickname was the Hawk?
The greater the nickname, the greater the player.
It is a lifetime of memories. Moments that keep pulling you in until eventually it becomes your whole world.
Champion!
And someday you'll find that it comes full circle. You'll be back where it all started.
Well, we finally made it.
Hurry up, Slowpoke!
Just got here.
And you'll dare to dream once more.
Imagine the lineups, the teams you could dream up.
What do you mean, Dad?
If the magic of this place truly existed. If the legends of the game were somehow out there. Bob Gibson, iron batters on the hill. Honus Wagner and Jackie. The Babe, standing right in the box, calling his shot. And Hammer and Hank, waiting on deck. Could you Imagine that.
Yeah, Dad. I can.
You've been playing like a champ lately.
Thanks, Dad.
I think you're ready for the heater.
Right in here.
Here it comes.
Let's go.
Well, go get it. That's the kid. If you build it, he will come.
Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch?
I'd like that.
Here to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome singer-songwriter with over 100 million streams, fashion designer, and two-time New York Times best-selling author, Jesse James Decker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in
Simple, stunning beauty. Is this heaven?
Flip your cards over to phase 2 now.
I could have sworn it was heaven. Inside with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, I'm Joe Davis. You watch the movie, you hear about the magic at this place, then you get here, you feel the magic. And it's one of 162, and that's part of what makes it special, but it is as special of a one of those 162 as you could have.
You know, in a season that's so busy, a long season, this is a moment in time that stands still for these players. Maybe you're not having the best year, maybe your team's not where you want it to be, but I guarantee you're going to remember this day. This game for these players brings everything full circle, their stories and everything that comes with it. I can't wait to get here. We're here. We get to experience magic again, and hopefully it lives up to like it did last year.
Yeah, you were here last year. This is my first trip here. We got to take in a Little League game on the original field yesterday, and you really do. You feel it. Like the hair on your arm stands up. There's an aura when you're around here.
There's no doubt. And the pictures, hopefully, are such beauty in your TV, because when you stare out at this field, you don't ever see anything like this, and it's a cathedral for many players to remember forever.
You're talking about how, you know, obviously neither one of these teams having a good year, having the kind of year that they wanted to have, but we talked with both these managers, and I thought the way David Bell put it was perfect. He said, we look at this as kind of a gift, right? They woke up feeling like this was a playoff environment and the nerves in their stomachs.
There's no doubt. It's a little out of order. Getting here is not easy, but when you get here, it's phenomenal.
So this is about baseball. This is about family as well, and we have one of the great baseball families, one of the great Reds families involved. Gus Bell, who was a Reds all-star outfielder in the 1950s. His son Buddy, six-time Gold Glove third baseman and a longtime manager. The late Mike Bell had a brief big league tenure, played 19 games at the Reds in 2000, hit 2 home runs in those 19 games. And of course, David, a 12-year playing career, and now the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he's with our Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. David, your family has produced 3 generations of major leaguers. How much does being here tonight bring you back to your childhood, to stories about your grandpa, Gus, to being at the ballpark with your father, Buddy?
It does. It really reminds you what this game is all about, what our family has talked about, just the simplicity of this field and being here, the excitement, the energy. People all over that love this game are watching tonight, and it means a lot to us. It means a lot to our family.
Now, a little over a year ago, you lost your younger brother, Mike. He was a former major leaguer, the Twins bench coach, someone beloved by your family and throughout baseball. David, how much is he on your mind tonight?
He's always on our mind. He's definitely on my mind today. Really feel his presence here. It's just it reminds me of all the time that we spent together through this great game, and it's been such a connection for our entire family, and definitely my brothers, my sisters, we all connected through this game. So he's definitely with us tonight, and really feel his presence here.
David, thank you. Have a great night.
Off the end of the bat to left center field, into the gap, it's down. Senzel backhands it shy of the track. Here comes Wisdom. Relay to the plate, cut off, and the Cubs strike first. Well, he shows some of that power, going out and getting that, and yanking it into the gap to make it 1-0.
Yeah, that's what he was doing in batting practice. He had a simple approach, simple swing. Now, again, it's batting practice. You get in the game, and he got one over the plate that he liked, and he did a nice job of just squaring it up and catching the gap. And with 2 outs, that's the key that allows the Cubs to score a run, because you're off with the crack of the bat. And even though the Reds made nice relays
into the next year. He lifts this one into left. That's going to dunk in for a hit in front of Almora. His throw to the plate is not in time, and the Cubs with a 2-out burst to make it 2-0.
Well, the Cubs coming into this game as a team were not very happy.
He serves one up the middle for a base hit. Third in a row for the Cubs with 2 gone. Tries to turn it into a double. Senzel throws late. 3-0.
sitting at home, this is painful. I mean, there's no protection for that. You really can't brace for it. It's just below the knee, and you know they say don't let them see you. Oh, don't let them see you hurt. Well, that's hard to let them not see you hurt. So obviously you've been part of so many great moments, but what was it like walking out on that field? It had to be surreal.
Well, I'd been to the other field, and I'd been through the house. I even got to do a 20-year anniversary thing with Kevin and talk about that, and also Brett Saberhagen. It's still emotional, you know, and I think the one thing that I really enjoyed the most is the people around me who are saying, you know, I didn't know this was on my bucket list. And it is so special the way, you know, people feel about baseball. And this is us taking us back to our roots, John. You know, you know that. Right. I mean, it's back to our Little League days. And Joe, I mean, this is your first broadcast on Field of Dreams?
First one here.
Was nervous?
I mean, I told John, it's like you see the movie and people tell you about the magic of the place, but until you get here, it's impossible to really appreciate it. And our production crew does such a wonderful job showing it, but man, you feel something when you're here. You really
and the great thing about what happened in pregame, I guess you saw some of the pregame stuff and everything else, how I really helped the ratings on this stuff.
That's what it's about, Johnny.
we had such a ball rolling. You know, here's Big Poppy out there on the side of the road. I'm on the side of the road with a suitcase. Yeah. And PT did such a great job of the whole staff, but it was just, and after we did it, it was like everybody was giving everybody high fives because it took them back to that one time in their life where it was special. And I just left the commissioner's tent just before we came over, and John was there. Yeah. I mean, John Kinsella, the catcher. He was only in this movie 5 minutes, but he's renowned across, you know, my dad was a catcher. He wanted to play Major League Baseball, and the war came along. He served 2 hitches, meaning 8 years. So when he came out, he was too old to play. And so one of his kids would follow in his footsteps. And I was always known as a catcher, although I was a pitcher. I was 84 and 3 lifetime.
I knew.
Oh, man.
Yet
I challenged you. That hard slider and everything else. And I'm not to blow smoke and everything else. John Smoltz, of course, is a Hall of Fame pitcher, but I wouldn't be surprised in the next 20 years, and hopefully I'm there to be there, but he'll go in as an announcer.
I appreciate that.
You are on top of it. I mean, you understand the game. We're not going through all this analytics and all this stuff all the time. We're actually talking about really what people are doing and how they are at the plate, what their hands are doing, how their eyes are up and down, what their front knees doing. You see pitchers, do they separate before they start forward? Is the arm going to trail? And that's what people really look for.
I want to
doing his best to walk it off. This one tough fella right there.
You never want to see anybody do that, and certainly he's doing his best to try to walk off that moment that grabs you so quickly in our game of bursts.
So Contreras is going to leave the game.
I'm Mike right now. Oh, yeah. No, you're just letting me know. Yeah, of course.
Good to see him doing it under his own power. Scary fall there around second.
It's as you know, John, it's that first 2-3 years of your career, you see what this league is really about. It's funny. I always say that the major leagues is the easiest place to play, but you have to be equipped for it. So I found when I got called up to the major leagues that it was like the balls were better, stadiums were better, everything, the scouting, everything about the game is built to, everything about the behind the scenes and the game on the field is built for the player to succeed, but it will absolutely swallow you. It will gobble you up if you don't have the skill, if you don't have the talent to be able to handle the rigors of the dailiness of this game, because you know an 0 for 4 turns into an 0 for 24. And with Nick, he's in that phase where he gets to find out what he's really about, you know, and he gets to learn, adapt to the league, change his game, because that's inevitable. You're going to have to make small and major adjustments in this game, and he's in that window. I'll tell you a story, because, you know, I'm out here at first base in the middle of a major league game, and I've got nothing to do right now, so I might as well tell a story.
Go for it.
I faced John in I believe my rookie year.
That's right.
And John was playing for the St. Louis Cardinals. And I didn't know I was playing. Your first ballot, right?
Yes.
I didn't know I was playing against. I knew I was facing a Hall of Fame pitcher. I didn't know he was first ballot, and that's extra special. That's you know, the inner circle type of stuff. You didn't have to do much waiting, and so I'm a young player, and I'm angry and competitive, and John's pitching. And he did not like the way we rubbed up the balls.
That's
and
right.
He was screaming at me and the umpire and our bench. And I got to be ready over here. He'll hit the ball this way. Got to turn the glove and play.
Take the corner.
Yeah, like I said. And John's screaming, and I'm in the frame of mind like, you got an option. You can either be intimidated by this you know, superstar, all-time great, Hall of Fame, you know, kind of guy, or you can match it. And so I think I walked.
Well, I was worried about hitting somebody because I couldn't feel the baseball.
I remember thinking, boy, he's got a good slider. He has a good slider. At that time, your fastball wasn't quite at its peak. I think you were more 91, 92.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like, you know what I remember from, you know, I faced Randy Johnson, I faced Maddox, I faced Mariano, I faced Schilling, Mussina, and Glavine. Those are pretty much the marquee guys I faced at the very beginning of my career. And I remember something very distinct about all you guys. Every single one of you guys had exceptional command, fantastic command. And I didn't expect that.
Fly to left center field. Moore is there.
You know, I thought of you guys as power guys. Power arms, power sliders. And the command that all of you had shocked me. And, you know, I get to brag about that with the younger players that get to face Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw. And you know, I'm missing future Hall of Famers, but all the guys now that are the guys that get to face them. I had that moment, those moments with the era before. So,
well, the uniqueness for me and you is that you've transcended kind of two generations of the way the game's played. You've played that long, and you've adjusted in a unique way to where it was all about command and throwing the ball where we needed to throw it, and now the velocity is at such an unbelievable level, and you've survived that and really thrived through changing your game throughout your career.
I like how you slipped in your old comment in a roundabout way. Good for you, John. 1 point.
The old Baltimore Orioles. Lines the ball to center field. Senzel plays it on a bounce, and the Cubs lead 4-0 as Velasquez comes in to score. That kind of swing will work in any era.
Yes, he got a breaking ball up over the plate. And again, the young man for the Reds, Nick, is going to learn that these kind of pitches with 2 strikes can't be in the middle of the strike zone. And he'll get there because he's got all the quality stuff. And a good job by the hitter to take advantage of it. And another RBI. Teams that are asked to win right away, or the pressure to win right away.
Contreras swats this one to right. Aquino will make the grab. Third. Here's a great throw to get him.
That man, I think that's 6 putouts, but 5 putouts at home plate. He has a cannon.
Wow, Aristides Aquino.
Yeah, it's so cool. It honestly, coming in from the airport, brought me back to summer ball, and you know, Midwest. I grew up in Pittsburgh, so we would drive to Ohio, to Indiana, to Illinois, to Michigan, and play summer ball tournaments. And so, pulling up through the cornfields into a place like this and being able to play baseball brings back a lot of those memories.
They're actually, I don't know if you heard this, Ian, but there's discussions about expanding this site and turning it into this giant complex where they can hold tournaments for Little League players.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just such a beautiful place. And I got to play in Des Moines for a while, and the baseball fans in Iowa, how much they love the game. It's awesome. It's a really great baseball state.
2 up, 2 down. Drew Smiley really rolling. 4-0 game here in the fourth.
Hey, I want to ask you. I mean, I obviously played with Chipper Jones, but what's your biggest take when you're switch hitting? What I mean, you focus on both sides of the plate, but what is the biggest takeaway when you're a player that's able to switch hit?
Yeah, for me, it's all about kind of treating myself as 2 different hitters. I think a lot about not trying to blur the lines, because it's so easy for one thing to be working from one side of the plate and try to carry that over and mess up the other one. And so I try to really separate them, and it's taken time to learn that at this level for sure.
No. Is that the biggest thing we've seen this year, Ian? Your numbers against left-handers have taken off. Has it been just kind of figuring out how to handle doing it?
Yeah, kind of a change second half of last year in approach and confidence. I actually went from a 34 from the right side to a 33.5, and that made a big difference for me, just in back control from the right side.
Well, we appreciate you spending some time with us. Enjoy tonight, okay?
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Hall of Famers. I think they'll forgive you.
I'm going to learn how to fly a drone. I'm convinced after today, I'm going to learn.
What was it like facing some of those Big Red Machine lineups he was part of?
When I came back to the National League, the Red Machine was still popular. But earlier than that, Ken Griffey Sr. was a leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
And then Rose hit third. Then came May and then Perez and Tommy Helms. I just think that, and Bench was in there too, maybe 5th or 6th. But, when you face good ball clubs, you got to have your act together. So Cincinnati was one of those teams. You can't give up runs early. Pitching against Maloney or whoever McCool or whoever the pitcher was. Hey, I got to stay in the game to make sure our ball club's got a chance to win.
Yeah. What's it like these days, Fergie, going to Wrigley Field and you see these statues lined up of the Cubs, great, and then there you are.
Well, I was hired by the Cubs like 8-9 years ago with Tom Ricketts, and he phoned me a year ago and said, "We're going to do a statue. Can I get your permission?" I said, "Go right ahead."
Your opinion, I love it.
Go right ahead. Yeah. And they had about half a dozen shots of me pitching, and I said, the best shot of me is the Sports Illustrated cover, because you can see the uniform logo and the hat. Because I used to keep my glove up, getting ready to field balls if they were hit up the middle. But that shot there of me throwing a changeup, and I can't even recall what team it was, but I was throwing quite a few changes that particular day, and I'm not sure if I even won the ball game. But that's a changeup grip in the statue.
Base hit for Nick Madrigal. And here's Wilson Contreras. Tough guy here. I don't know if you saw his tumble earlier in the game. Really bad, but stays in.
When he rounded the bat, he lost footing and turned his ankle. Oh, man. That's all he needs to get hurt. He's the backbone of this team. I mean, he's a good young catcher, and he knows the pitchers. I mean, I always thought the catcher is my backbone. We go over the hitters prior to the game or prior to of a new series. He's calling everything. If I don't like it, I just shake it off, but I come back maybe the same pitch. But he knows these young guys. I mean, you got to have a smart catcher.
No doubt. No doubt. As a visiting player, I mean, we fell into the allure. You got a chance to pitch many games, of course, at Wrigley Field. Did you find yourself checking that flagpole every time you had to start?
When I came off the outer drive, I could tell which way the wind. When I got into Belmont, I could tell which way the wind's blowing.
Did it change the way you went about? Okay.
I used to tell myself I got to jam right-hand hitters, just hard in, and then pitch away. And I was very successful. I had good control away with that slider and the cutter. or the sinker. But I mean, Randy Hundley, as I said, would call certain pitches. We'd come in on guys that we knew were going to challenge me away. And I had some success.
There were games when I took BP because I thought it'd be fun with the wind blowing out, and then I realized this is not fun. If I'm hitting homers, right, that means the real hitters, are going to have a field day.
But you got any ballpark that the wind blows out. You know, even Fenway, they have a wind factor late in the game in there. And then when I pitched to Turnpike Stadium in Arlington, holy smokes, you couldn't tell. The wind, the different times, the wind would like gust the first 2 innings, and then it would be gusting in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
So you say, oh man, I can't make a mistake.
Perfect name for a game like this. He's going to throw his fastball around 95 miles an hour, and he's going to have his curveball and changeup for his.
4-0 Cubs ahead. Is that real? Wow. To the 7th inning we go. A perfect night here in Iowa.
All right. Let me hear you. Good and loud. On 1, on 2, on 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, it's room for me. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes around and 2.
Center field. That'll get the job done for the Reds. It scoots its way all the way to the edge of the track. It'll score 2. It's a 4-2 game. Matt Reynolds off of the bench tonight. 2 for 2. And he's cut the Reds' deficit. He got some more on how this all gets to look so good.
Well, guys, the corn surrounding the field this year is a completely different hybrid, a different type than the crop we saw last year. The leaves are dark green. It makes it a little showier. It's also about a foot shorter. Now, Adam Ray, who farms the site with his brother Andy, he says it's routine to plant different hybrids of corn. It's a way to manage risk, protect against disease. Now, the Ray brothers, they're sort of the MVPs of this project. During growing season, they'll assemble a team of 5 that sometimes works on this site as early as 5 a.m. and other times after dark. And guys, that's in addition to their regular jobs. That's how much care they put into this. While working, their team will talk about baseball and other topics. They tell their wives it's their version of a book club.
Well, we would be remiss, and we wouldn't do this without talking to you about it first, John, but you lost your father today. And, yeah, I'm sorry, my friend.
Yeah, it's been an incredible day. It's been an emotional day. That was taken not too long ago. His passion for baseball. What a day to honor him. He lived by his faith. He loved family. And he would be so mad if I didn't do this game. And I can't think of another day to honor him when you think about this park, this movie, and how he loved every one of us and everyone he came in contact with. So I'm the man I am because of him, and he was awesome.
Back of the play right there. Wisdom across the diamond to get Almora. And I know you had people ask, like, how can you still do the game? Are you sure you want to do the game? But it almost became like the reason for doing the game.
Yeah,
right?
I can't explain the peace I have. That comes just from God and the way he lived. And he lived, I call it the 4 L's. He lived, he laughed, he learned. He listened, and he gave us everything that we needed to fulfill and show up to work. And I feel like I'm showing up to work, and what a better way for my mom, my brother, and my sister, and the support we've gotten today. It started early this morning. I'm sure it'll hit when I get home, but this is the perfect day for him if he was going to leave.
Well, we're glad that you decided to spend it with us. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
I know there are some cards, some John Smoltz cards floating around the universe right now that he was handing out.
He was so proud that when I was in high school, he made my first baseball card, and everywhere he went, he just handed them out to people. And I didn't get it then. I was actually begging him to stop doing that, and I get it now because I've run into so many people who met my dad, and they go, "I met your dad," and I go, "Stop. Did he give you a card?" And they said, "Yeah, and here it is." And he loved it. So I'm gonna miss him, but I'm gonna live every day for him.
Well, tonight in honor of John Smoltz, John Sr.
Yeah. To the bottom with his breaking ball.
Another 3-2. Back to the breaking ball to finish the night. The Cubs take the Field of Dreams game 4-2 over the Reds.
But they're going to remember the memory of this game more than anything, and I sure am as well.
Well, we appreciate you being here, John. We're thinking of you, thinking of your family, and remembering your father.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, you've pitched in 32 Major League ballparks. This is the first time surrounded by almost 200 acres of corn. Describe the experience when you took the mound in the first inning and what carried you through 6 innings of shutout ball.
It was awesome. I mean, it's just such a cool experience. Major League Baseball did an amazing job setting this all up. To just get out here early in the day and walk amongst everybody through the cornfields with the fans and then show up, and it's a small ballpark, obviously, and it's a very intimate setting. It's fun just to be here and hear the fans. You can hear them yell in the stands. It's just a memory that's going to stick with all of us for a long time.
And Drew, you know, as a pitcher, you go over scouting reports for a start. This time you prepared by watching a movie. And you know, Field of Dreams is about connecting generations. As a father yourself, with a daughter who has a birthday today, what are the memories that you will take away from this experience?
Yeah, I mean, I'll remember it forever. She's turned 5 today, so I don't know how well she'll remember it later in her life, but it's really cool for her to be here. And my younger son, Landon, and actually I have another newborn that's a month old. They're all here watching, so it's fun to have the family here with me and him to. They're used to big cities and big stadiums, so they come out here and they see cornfields everywhere. It's neat. It's neat for all of us. So we had a good night.
Congratulations on a great win and a great memory.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.